안녕하세요. Korean Dream with J, Dream, 제림입니다. Finally, a new year is starting. So let's talk about your New Year's resolution and New Year's wish using the noun modifying form 은, 는, 을 plus noun. A lot of times you hear 것. So adjectives and verbs have different noun modifying forms. And by noun modifying forms, we mean how to use adjectives and verbs before a noun, like a good person, a bad person, the person I know, the person I met yesterday, to modify and describe the noun we are talking about. Let's start with verbs and you can talk about your New Year's resolution. Starting with a present tense to talk about general things. The dictionary ending 다, you change that to 는. And it doesn't matter if the verb stem ends with a consonant or vowel. Easy, right? And this is used a lot to talk about your hobbies, your preference, your plans, your dreams, and your New Year's resolution. To do that, you use the noun 거, which is a colloquial or shortened form of 것, and it means thing. It also means the fact or the act of doing something. So that's how you can nominalize, make verbs into nouns in Korean. This is the most generally used form of verb into nouns. So verb stem 는 거 becomes the act of doing this verb or ing form. So I like reading. That reading is the noun form of the verb to read. And when you do that in Korean, 읽다, to read, reading, the act of reading, 읽는 거. So if you want to say my hobby is reading books, 제 취미는 책 읽는 거예요. Or I like reading books. 책 읽는 거 좋아해요. 먹다, eating, 먹는 거. I like eating. 먹는 거 좋아해요. 저 먹는 거 좋아해요. To sleep, 자다. I like sleeping. 저는 자는 거 좋아해요. So then, what's your New Year's wish? 새해 소원이 뭐예요? Mission. This is your mission number 1. Write your New Year's wish in this 는 거 form. 제 새해 소원은 제 조카 나은이를 만나는 거예요. 한국에 가는 거예요. 여러분 새해 소원은 뭐예요? Well, the New Year's wish is future, so wouldn't I use 을 거예요 instead of 는 거예요? 을 거예요 is also noun modifying form. And when you use 을 instead of 는, it's prospective. It hasn't happened yet. And also probability. You are meaning probably. In this video, I introduced this 을 거예요 form. A lot of people know it as future tense, but linguistically speaking, Korean doesn't have future tense. It's probability. So you can talk about now. You're guessing about right now. You can use 을 거예요. When you are saying probably, guessing, you can use this 을 거예요 form. Things to do, food to eat. You haven't eaten them yet. Places to go, 을 plus noun. Things to do, work to do, 하다, 할, and then you put 일, 할 일, things to do. So to-do list. And the conjugation rule, as you saw, vowel, verb stem, you just put 리을 underneath. If the verb stem ends with a consonant, like 먹다, you need 으, 먹으 plus 리을 underneath, 먹을. So things to eat, something to eat, 먹을 거. Do you have something to eat? Do you have anything to eat? 먹을 거 있어? 배고파, 먹을 거 있어? 배고파, 먹을 거 없어? 서울에는 갈 곳이 많아요. There are many places to go in Seoul. So if you want to say, I am going to do this, I will probably do this, instead of 는 거예요, like just saying, my New Year's resolution is doing this, you can say, I am going to do this. And you can say 을 거예요, like the future tense you learn. What about past tense? It's 은. Again, there is ı in parentheses. That means if the verb stem ends with a consonant on the bottom, you need ı and then put 니은 underneath. So like 먹다 becomes 먹은. So thing I ate, 먹은 거. Work I did, things I did. 한 일. So you see something's done. Who did this? Whose work is this? 누가 한 거야? 이거 누가 한 거야? 누가 is 누구 plus subject marker. Did this work. 이거 누가 한 거야? 제가 한 거예요. It's a thing that I did. I did it. And these noun modifying forms are often used with 것 같다. Present tense 같아요. Past tense 같았어요. Most formal way 같습니다. Plain speech level with no politeness at all, like your reaction, just the dictionary form 같다. And 같다 literally means identical or same. So A and B are the same. A랑 B랑 같아요. So when you use it with noun modifying form plus 것 같다, it translates as it's like ing, or it's like the fact that. So people use this to say, I feel like, I think, it seems like, or you are presenting your opinion, but you don't want to come across too strong or too direct. Then people kind of make it softer by saying, I think, I feel like. I feel like I'm eating too much these days. 요즘 너무 많이 먹는 것 같아요. I feel like I ate too much yesterday. 어제 너무 많이 먹은 것 같아요. I think I'm gonna eat a lot tomorrow because we're going to Korean barbecue. 내일 한국 고깃집에 가요. 그래서 많이 먹을 것 같아요. If you want to say, I guessed in the past, it looked like. When I was there yesterday, they looked like they were fighting. Then you change 같아요 to the past tense. 같았어요. 싸우다 is to fight. So it looked like they were fighting. So the fight was happening in the present of when you were witnessing it. Then you'll say 싸우는 것 같았어요. You guessed yesterday. 싸우는 것 같았어요. If you say 싸운 것 같아요, keep the 같아요 in the present tense and 싸우다 in the past tense, it becomes I think is the present tense. They fought. They had a fight. 싸운 것 같아요. I thought they were fighting. 싸우는 것 같았어요. When the verb stem ends with 리을 underneath, 리을 drops and disappears. So instead of 알는, it becomes 아는. You know the Korean variety show? 아는 형님, knowing bros, or the bros that I know? It's not 아는 형님, right? It's 아는 형님. So remember that. The person I know, 아는 사람. 아는 사람이에요. It's my acquaintance. The house I'm living now. 지금 사는 집. Where is the house you're living right now? 지금 사는 집이 어디예요? What's the city that you're living right now? 지금 사는 도시가 어디예요? For the past tense, 리을 drops as well. Treat 알다 like 아 and just put 니은 underneath like a vowel. 안, 살다, 산. So the house I lived before. 전에 산 집이에요. What about adjectives? Consonant, 은, vowel, just 니은 underneath. A good person. 좋다, 좋은 사람. A bad person. 나쁘다, 나쁜 사람. And you can use this with 것 같아요 as well. I think it's nice. I think it's good. 좋은 것 같아요. I think it's probably good, or I think it will be good. Prospective, right? And that's same as verb 을 거예요 form. 을 것 같아요. I think it'll be good. 좋을 것 같아요. I think the weather will be good. 날씨가 좋을 것 같아요. I think the weather will be bad. 나쁠 것 같아요. 여러분, 2021년은 어떨 것 같아요? What do you think 2021 will be like? Use 을 prospective because you're guessing and make your sentence. So a far away place, 멀다, you delete 리을 and treat it like a vowel ending. And just put 니은 underneath. A far place, 먼 곳. Long hair, 길다, 긴 머리. Okay, so 리을 are irregulars. What about the past tense? I think it was good yesterday. I think it was bad yesterday. Then what do? This is my next lesson. I'll go deeper into this particular noun modifying form, 던. To talk about the past, I think the weather was good yesterday. Basically, what you do is this. 좋아요, what's the past tense? 좋았어요. So you keep this at, ot, which is a past tense suffix, and change 어요 to this 던, and then put a noun after. 날씨가 좋았던 것 같아요. What about 나쁘다? 나쁘다, present tense, 나빠요, past tense, 나빴어요. I think the weather was bad. Will be 날씨가 나빴던 것 같아요. But about this 던, wait for next week's video. I'll go deeper into it. 있다 and 없다. When we are using them in present tense like a fun movie, then we conjugate them like verb. So 재미있다 becomes 재미있는 plus 영화. 재미있는 영화, a fun movie. A boring movie, 재미없는 영화. Delicious. Oh, I want to eat something delicious. 맛있다 changes to 맛있는 거 먹고 싶어요. 맛있는 거 먹고 싶어요. But when we are using them in a past tense before a noun, I am so sorry, my apologies, but they conjugate like adjectives. For example, all I remember about 2020 is staying home. 2020년에 기억나는 건 집에 있었던 거예요. How was your 2020? What's the thing you remember about 2020? 2020년에 기억에 남는 일이 뭐예요? What's remaining in your memory? 저는 집에 있었던 거예요. Staying home. I have a Patreon account, and if you become a patron, you'll get summary sheets and some exercise questions in the summary sheet as well. So if you're interested in signing up for my Patreon, then link is in the description. Please check it out. Make sure you make your sentences as your practice as well, and I'll see you next week. 그럼 다음 주에 다시 올게요. 감사합니다.